Hi, just a quick one. I've just been leaving a comment to Bob the Science Guy on P Brain's video called Bob the Science Guy song gets a perspective lesson from P Brain about Mount Rainier and its shadow. I'm not going to go through all this other stuff that he's put because he is what they call it. You can I'll leave a link in the description so you can go and have a look anyway. I'm just going to highlight what I put and then what he said. I put at Bob the Science Guy. You said, and I quote, "You really don't have any qualifications to judge then apparently. By the way, if you are not," and he put "you are" separate letters. It's not. That's not grammatically correct anyway. So for a science guy, he's not got very good grammar. Even considering it, you wouldn't be able to judge my qualifications. Now I know where you get your name, Bob the Fallacy Guy, from. Right? I know where he gets his name, Bob the Fallacy Guy, from, because that is the credentials fallacy. And I thought it's not measurable proof for the affirmative claim using natural or applied science using tangible substance. This is the credentials fallacy, a logical fallacy which occurs when someone dismisses an argument simply because the person who made that argument doesn't have formal credentials in the field being discussed, or doesn't have credentials that are viewed as sufficient. Then I put, you said, at Bob the Science Guy, you said, and I quote, "That's funny, and what does the shape of the eye got to do with what?" And he put, "we are," the separate letters, separate words again, but it's "we are" with an apostrophe, "we" apostrophe "re", so it's grammatically incorrect again, but I'm just nitpicking what we're looking at. I says, "For a supported science guy, your grammar isn't very good, and you don't do science very well, as you don't take into account all the variables when you make an observation, or is that because you have a confirmation bias?" I says, "Do you use your eyes to make scientific observations, yes or no?" I says, if you do, or you use technology that's based on the human eye, like a camera or any type of lens, then you have to take into account how the human eye perceives the world through spherical eyes with curved lenses, and the fact that we see in non-Euclidean geometry. You also have to take into account all the other variables which affect observations, like Airy's disk and Fraunhofer diffraction at a circular aperture, as well as perspective and atmospheric conditions like atmospheric lensing caused by precipitation. There is also a lot of other factors to consider, like the mirroring effect, and there's many more, but there's too many to put in this comment section. And he just put, "Steve HV, thanks, I really don't care." So it's just highlighting who he is, basically, just by saying "I really don't care." He's calling himself Bob the Science Guy, but to say he's a science guy and saying that "I really don't care" about science and taking in all the variables and taking everything into account, that says to me that he's not really a science guy. Because if he was, he wouldn't make that comment, "I really don't care." He's showing himself for who he really is. Yeah? In my opinion. Yeah? If he was a real science guy, he would have listened to that and he'd have gone, "Well, yeah, fair enough. I mean, you need to take all these things into account, or you need to take into account all the variables and stuff like that." But he's not said that, he's just said, "I really don't care." Unless he commented that before I put this last comment. No, because it was an hour ago. And he commented 48 minutes ago. So he had a chance to read both comments and see both comments. Yeah? Unless he only commented on that one, about the credentials fallacy and everything else. He might not have commented on this one yet. I will update later in another video if he leaves another comment about this one here. About the second comment that I left an hour ago. I've edited it because I did make a couple of spelling mistakes, yes. It wasn't on purpose, it was like because of what they call it, predictive text basically. I put the word "any" instead of "and" because of predictive text. That's all really, that's the only reason why I edited it. And I think I put the word "is" very poor, and I meant to put "isn't very good," would have been better, I don't know, so I just changed it to that, about his grammar. So that's it really. Just wanted to highlight that basically is saying he don't care. That's Steve HV, thanks, I really don't care. So if you don't care about science, and you don't care about having to take all the variables into account and everything else, he's not much of a science guy, is he? So he's just shown himself. Thank you.